Morning guys, it's Thanksgiving. It's cold and we're on Lake Cypress today looking for a running water bite. More on that later. I'm Captain Lee. That's Joe.
Morning, happy Thanksgiving.
And that beast down there is Odin, 137-pound lapdog. Stick around. Why are we in Cypress? Well, we're in Cypress because there's running water today. It's not moving water, it's running water. And there's a difference. And it may just be me that thinks there's a difference, but I'll explain. In some previous videos, I've talked about how the hydrology of the Kissimmee chain works. Draw a triangle on a map between Disney, St. Cloud, and downtown Orlando. And if it rains in that triangle, it winds up in Lake Toho. And if it winds up in Lake Toho, it eventually comes down to Cypress, which normally wouldn't be that big a deal because we would be about 3 foot higher or fishing in a completely different style. But since Kissimmee and Hatch and Cypress are down a foot and Toho is at max pool, we're getting the normal late spring, early summer water flow. So we're fishing with moving baits in some current in Lake Cypress. The difference between running water and moving water, in my opinion, is this. You get out your map. The structure at State Road 60 at the south end of Kissimmee is S65. The structure at the south end of Toho is S61. Now, I'm going to put a link down in the description to get you to a Corps of Engineer website that's going to give you up-to-date lake levels for St. John's, Ocklawaha, Kissimmee, Okeechobee, and the Glades. And the way you can tell from your living room where water is running is by paying attention to those charts. So I'll walk you through one here right now. Go to the Corps of Engineer website, click on Lake Toho, and you see a red line, which is Zone B regulation. That's the elevation that the Corps of Engineers and the Water Management District have determined is the safe elevation for stormwater storage. And since we're out of the hurricane season, we should be at max level. Toho's already there. You can see the big blue blotch of water underneath the red line. Now, anytime it rains in that triangle I just talked about, it's gonna dump into Toho, and then they're going to dump that into the South Fork Canal, which winds up here in Cypress. So once you're done looking at that chart, click on the Hatchinaw and Cypress chart, and there's two key lines you need to look for. If you look at it right now, you can see that the Zone B elevation, the blue line there, and the brown line, which is Hatchinaw, is about 3 feet below where it should be. There's a 3 foot difference between the blue line and the brown line. Now in the summer or late spring, that's what you expect to have because they're pulling Kissimmee, prepping for hurricane season. But we shouldn't have that at the end of November. The other line you need to look at is a lime green line with a little circle around it. That is S61 tailwater. And if that lime green line is above the brown line, which it is by about a foot this morning, that means they're dumping water out of Toho. The water elevation on the downside of the lock is about a foot higher than the water elevation is here in Kissimmee and Hatch. So what does that mean? That means you have current, because they're putting more water in the canal behind the lock than they can get rid of. So it's running, and it's running pretty good today. We got about a 1 mile current running through here, which means they should be biting and chasing baits, but they're not doing anything at the moment. But just remember the lime green line and the brown line, the difference is going to tell you how much current you have. Now, the difference between running water and moving water is if we were at our normal elevation and everything was up to the Zone B, then they would be letting water out of S65 at the south end of Kissimmee, and water would be moving across the whole Kissimmee chain, which changes how you fish. Running water is water coming into a lake. Moving water is water moving across the lake. If this was normal water conditions for us, I'd be out on a point or a shell bar or a brush pile in main Lake Kissimmee, because they're going to stack up in those areas when the water's moving across them. They're not pulling any water out of S65, so there's no current main lake, and the best current we can find in these conditions is going to be here in Cypress. So that was Hydrology 101 for the Kissimmee chain. Be some more later on. Stick around.
I was just listening and learning stuff.
It making sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Joe and I were just talking about, most people know enough about fishing to fish where the water's moving. They just don't know why they're fishing there, and they don't know how to figure it out without spending an hour and 15 gallons of fuel to run down here and see if there's any water running. But what I just showed you will allow you to do it from your living room on Friday night before you come fishing on Saturday, and you can pick your spots. Now, as the water comes up, I hope it comes up to its normal levels, I'll do another video about moving water, and we'll do that on Kissimmee. And when that starts happening, it puts Jack Slough, Tiger Creek, the main river channels into play as far as how you fish moving water for bass. And it's different this time of year than it would be, say, May, when they're pulling a lot of water and there's a current ripping through there. Spot number 2. We started at the mouth of the Hatchinaw Canal, where it comes in from Hatch to Cypress. And we saw somebody catch a couple little ones on a little prop bait. And we're really searching for some bigger fish today. We were out here, what, a couple days ago?
Yeah.
And it was blowing about 35 miles an hour, or so it seemed, and we only fished for about an hour, but we caught some smaller fish out here in these hydrilla clumps, and we found some eelgrass with some hard, clean sand bottom around it. So we're out here now searching for that again, see if we can find that bite. We've got a perfect 8-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the northeast. It's finally starting to warm up, getting some sun. We've got no clouds yet. Clear bluebird skies, but we are on the backside of the coldest cold front that we have had so far this year. Yesterday morning, we were in the mid-40s. This morning, we were in the low 50s. It's supposed to warm up to the mid-70s today, and we are on what the solar lunar calendar calls a poor fishing day. But since we are on the backside of that cold front, and these fish probably weren't that active yesterday, we're hoping that we can convince some to get active today, so stick around.
Thanksgiving, you gotta eat.
Exactly. Everybody's got to eat on Thanksgiving, although it may be an afternoon bite, but we're going to be napping probably by then, so hopefully we can convince them to eat early. Stick around. We were fishing hydrilla like this and patches of it, and some days they would eat the chatterbait, and then some days they only eat a worm, which I think I'm about to put the chatterbait down since you're throwing one. I'll throw a worm.
Yeah.
Until we figure out what they're going to eat. That's the plan. So we're on plan like 12 by now. So Joe's going to keep fishing with a moving bait, and I'm going to slow down and throw a worm. Oh, that's a good one. Scratch that. We're going to stay with moving baits.
Oh, little drag squealer.
What?
Little drag squealer. He was running at the boat.
He's about 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Look at
Maybe
that.
3. Look at that. We caught a fish.
What do you
Okay.
think about that?
He's tied up.
Oh, he was barely.
Just, he was running towards me. It just fell out. That's why I was cranking as fast as I could.
So that's fish number 1. We are going to continue with the moving baits. I think we just finally got in an area that had some decent fish. So 1, took us about an hour to find him. And he bit me as I tried to let him go.
Really?
He wouldn't jump off.
He was angry.
He was mad. All right, trying something different. The thumper, floating version, blue flake, pegged, with a 3/8 ounce and a barber stop. And I'm going to yo-yo it and fish it along the top of this eelgrass. We'll see how this works. So we got one on a chatterbait, and And we got one good bite on a rattle trap.
That was a good bite too.
And that's it so far. And we are now about an hour and a half in. Still on our second / first / 12th spot. It's all the same. We're just wandering around out here in Cypress in some of the open water, fishing over some scattered eelgrass, a little bit of hard sand bottom, and isolated clumps of peppergrass and hydrilla mixed in. And we still haven't found the bait. We got one fish, one bite, no bait. So stick around, we're gonna keep wandering around here looking. Well, we're back at spot number 1. We didn't have a lot of luck out there in the big open patches. But there's a good current running through here, and we're currently in about 3 feet of water right where it drops off into the main channel. Trying to find some bait. We've yet to find the bait this morning, and I think that's what we're missing. So stick around. Still have yet to see a pile of bait anywhere. What's going on with that?
I'm watching the Macy's series.
I guess. This fish definitely slept in today. Spot number 4. We're back in Hatch. Trying to fish some windy points on some hard sand bottom that should be another 3 foot deeper, but it's about 2.5 feet deep right now. Just got bit. I think it was a little one. But the males aren't here yet. We were hoping maybe the males will be here early, but this is going to be a good spawning flat in about a month. Hopefully you'll see us catch some big fish off of it. But spot number 4, we're working on it. Stick around.
Up, and they only do it like April or May.
It might be a mudfish. Got it.
Yeah.
No bass. That was the male we were looking for.
It was.
They are here. Well, we missed it on this camera because I'm a horrible cameraman. I didn't have it on, but we were blowing into this little pad field in about 2.5 feet of water on this windy point, looking for little males. And they're here, or at least one of them was. I didn't get him in the boat. He had it by the tail. He didn't have hook.
Probably just moving it out off of his bed.
He might have been just moving it because he didn't have the hook. So we're gonna play around on this flat for a little while, see if we can't find a few more. Stick around. Come on, fishies. Making us look bad. Oh, there we go. That's a little one. I got him. Oh, no.
That's another male.
Yeah. Well, that was male number 2 that I lost. We're up here in another flat a little further down Lake Hatch. On the protected side from the wind, the water's warming up. We're at 66 degrees. The males are checking out real estate, looks like, but I think they're a bit early. So we're gonna keep plugging along, so stick around. Well, it's 11:30-ish. We've been out here about 4 hours. We started in Cypress on a running water bite. Joe caught a decent one and lost one. And then we moved down the canal a little bit more, some more running water, couldn't get bit, came into Hatch. And I played with 2 little males who I don't think were biting. They were more relocating furniture in their living room. Apparently the little guys are up shallow in the pads right now. Again, we're down 2 feet. If we had some more water, we get up tight to the hard bank, we probably could have found some more fish. We had a good time. Anything you want to add, Joe?
The boys are getting ready.
They are getting ready.
Be here in a few weeks.
Oh, you got anything you want to add, buddy? It's time to go get some bacon. That's what you want to add. So before we go, though, I'd like to talk to you guys for a minute. Subscribers count has hit 200 this week, and I really do appreciate that, guys. It makes it worthwhile. I spend a lot of time off the water behind the computer screen turning raw footage into a watchable video for you guys, and you're the reason I'm doing it. But I learned something the other day, and it's called a community post. And what I would like to do, because I don't see them anywhere anymore, is to do a current, almost live fishing report from the Kissimmee chain. But in order to get that feature, we've got to have 500 subscribers. So subscribers, thank you for subscribing. You're getting us there. If you guys who aren't subscribed are getting something out of these videos, click the subscribe button. I appreciate it, because I would like to get to 500 subscribers, and that's the last time I'm going to ask you guys about subscribing, because I just want to get there so I can do weekly, bi-weekly fishing reports, what's going on in the Kissimmee chain, and give you guys a better shot at catching them on your weekends when you do get some time to come out here. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.